Hi everyone, this is the third app that I cannot live without in my teaching and that I use in my planning every week, really every day because I'm looking at it every night. So it's called Dreambox Learning. Dreambox is a math app that our district requires. Kindergarten through third grade automatically have Dreambox on their iPads, and fourth and fifth grade have 10 marks. For those fourth and fifth grade students that are below grade level and 10 marks is too hard, we push out Dreambox to them. So I'm going to log into my Dreambox teacher account. So when I log in, you can see that I have two different classrooms. I have my third grade classroom that I co-teach in, and I also have my own classroom, which is all of my special education students. So I can see this week, well, up to today, last 7 days, that the average in my special education classroom is that they're spending 13 minutes a week on it. Third grade is 19 minutes. How many lessons on average my kids are completing, how many lessons have been completed, and kind of the average. So if I first go in and look at my classroom, it gives me how many minutes they've been on it. As you can see, this one has a flag, and it's showing me that she was not proficient in 3 out of the last 5 lessons that she completed. So I can click on her name and I can see where she's struggling. I can get a demo of that lesson and what it looks like, maybe how it's being presented. She just needs a little bit of more support. Maybe the language is a little confusing, so I can kind of look at that demo tomorrow. We can go back to that lesson and we can work on it together. I could do a small lesson around it. I also see the lesson that she's currently in progress working at. I also can see that these green marks are those things that she is proficient in. So it gives me just a little bit of alerts there, which is really nice. Some of my students that have 0 time, Dreambox is still too hard for them. They don't benefit from it, so I have other modified and differentiated work that they do that is not on their iPad. Our district requires Dreambox and wants students to be using it 20 minutes, but it's not appropriate for some of my students. If I go into the third grade classroom, again, I can look at all the kids, those that aren't in special education, but the ones that are in my math group. I can see how they're doing. It's just a great way to see where students are, where they're struggling, where they're proficient. Something that I do with this Dreambox information is like I said, I make mini lessons out of it, numeracy routines when I start my lessons or around Dreambox. We also have 3 mini lessons going on in third grade. I teach the below grade level. I have my special ed students in there, and I have pulled gen ed students. We have our group. We have a right there level and above. Waukesha does a workshop model, and so each one of us have our own bins where we have our can-do, must-dos, games, but we have this extra practice bin, and so I look at where my students need that extra help, and I print out games and extra practice around Dreambox. It has been so helpful just to kind of see where students are struggling. We often see it on their tests or formal assessments, their work, but Dreambox is like a game, and they enjoy it, and I think because it's a game, we kind of get that true picture. They pick what lessons they want to work on. It's not specific. And so we might be working on place value, but they're struggling with, I don't know, let's see, they are working on place value, but they're doing geometry on Dreambox. It's self-chosen, and that's something that I really like. when we have our common planning time, we pull up Dreambox, we look at it, we look at what our data is telling me, we form groups around it, we form mini lessons. We just use this as another data source for us. So that is Dreambox.